Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Soul, Mind, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership, empowering each other, connecting to the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
Today, guess who's back again with us to talk about some wonderful interconnectedness that we have within ourselves, the amazing, intelligent, and beautiful Francine Hatley. Francine, always a pleasure to have you with us.
Hi guys, always love coming to visit with you guys. It's always so fun.
Awesome. As per usual, go ahead and do a quick introduction of yourself, and then we'll get chatting about what we've got going on right now.
Absolutely. So I'm Francine Hatley. I am a psychic medium and a Reiki master. So I talk to spirits. I talk to your loved ones who have already crossed over, deliver messages that they might have for you. And I also do Reiki. So it's all energy work. Energy is this wonderful healing energy. The cool thing about that is, along with doing a Reiki session, I then tell you what I've discovered during that session and the different things that are going to help you. Think of it kind of like spiritual guidance, life coaching kind of thing. Plus, I'm helping with all that yummy energy, getting your energy to understand how it needs to help heal itself. So it heals aches and pains, fatigue, anxiety, depression, insomnia, lots of different yummy good things it helps with.
Yes, that's super exciting.
It is super exciting. And I actually had a wonderful experience with Francine last week.
So before we dive into that, do you want to tell us a little bit about what Reiki is and a little bit about maybe the history of Reiki?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. So the history of Reiki, it was developed in Japan in 1922 by Mikao Usui. It was brought to the West in 1937 by Hawawa Takada. So this has then grown in popularity over the decades. There was a survey that was conducted in 2007 that indicates in the previous year, 1.2 million adults and 161,000 children in the US had received one or more Reiki sessions. That was just back in 2007. Wow. So imagine how that's grown. Hospitals are now recognizing the benefit of Reiki, and they're actually offering, some hospitals, not all of them. So if your hospital does it, you need to start asking for it. They will offer Reiki sessions to their clients. It helps with the healing process. And Reiki is the awareness that an unseen energy flows through all living things and directly affects the quality of a person's health. And it has been part of the wisdom of many cultures since ancient times. So all cultures have believed in energy in some way, shape, or form, right? Mm-hmm. This life energy goes by many names. We call it Chi in Japan, Ki in China, Prana in India. The ancient Hawaiians called it Ti or Ki. It has also been called Orgone energy and Awan Vital, and science refers to it as the biofield energy, right? Science has to get it.
The biofield, I like it.
Biofield, right?
The technical.
I call it the universal energy because it's all around us, right? It's everywhere. When your life energy is low, it's more difficult to deal with the stress. You may not sleep well. You're more susceptible to illness. And when your life energy is strong, you'll feel more strong, like you can deal with stress. You're less likely to get sick. And so Reiki really kind of charges your energy, helps your energy understand and realize that it can heal itself, and helps you with all of those issues, help you stronger, gets you through your day.
Wow, that's really awesome. I think of all of the things that are happening in the world, and then all the hats that we wear as business owners on top of it, having a chance to just be calm, and we're trying to overcome those fears as business owners that we face every day and get out of our own head. And this feels like a great tool to do that.
It is. A lot of times my clients will actually fall asleep on the table. So it's, I'm giving them permission for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, however long they book their session, to just calm down and tune out. And then I work my wonderful, yummy energy magic on them. And it helps them. It's relieving their stress. It's giving them the opportunity to just relax and de-stress, just even relaxing on the table, right? And then I'm adding in that energy, which is going to help them be more focused and more calm, give them that energy boost they need to go about their day and get through those stresses more calmly, right?
So I know that.
I did.
Is that how you felt like?
Yeah. So last week when I met with Francine and at her studio, but she doesn't have to do this like in her studio. She can do it like virtually also, her Reiki. And she's got this wonderful massage table, and you just lay down, you get comfortable. Instead of like face down, how you start a massage, you lay face up, right? And she starts with her fingertips like on your head and the energy and things like that. And
Yeah,
I kind of
I have a
floated in and
question.
out of like consciousness.
When she says fingertips on her head, did she just feel like your fingertips were on her
No,
head?
I
do
actually
you
place
actually-
my hands. I do. I
Okay.
place my hands on your head. What I do is I always place my hands on your head, and I ask, my energy asks your energy permission for me to start.
Mhm.
Because I'm
Oh,
not going to enter into your energy field unless I have permission.
I love
so
that so much.
Always ask permission. And so it's my first connection with you.
Mhm.
And I do it up at your head because I want your conscious to be consciously aware that I am asking for permission. So even though maybe you're not thinking about it, your energy, your conscious energy is.
Mhm.
And I get permission. I've only had a couple of times when I wasn't given permission right away. And if I'm not, I ask why. And usually there's a reason, and it's usually fear or
Mhm.
doubt that it's going to work, that it's going to benefit them in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
And so I will then ask again, let me show you, may I show you how it works?
Mhm.
And usually I'm then granted permission, and then we start. So I touch the head, I may touch the shoulders, I'll go down to the feet and the ankles, but I don't touch anywhere else. There
Mhm.
are hand positions where you can place your hands like on the upper chest, on the belly. If they're on their stomach, you can place it on their back. But I prefer to just work in very specific, put my hands in very specific locations, because
Mhm.
not a lot of people want to be touched. If it's not a
Mhm.
massage, they don't want to be touched all over. So I'm very
Mhm.
conscious of that.
Mhm.
And I will tell them before I get started, you may feel me touch your head, your shoulders, or down at your feet. Just understand it's just me.
And don't kick me, please.
Yeah, don't kick me, please. Yeah. And then as we go through the session, my hands will come off of their head and be more in their energy field. But they may still think that I'm still touching them, because technically I am. That energy is touching their energy.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. And it was this, like, I kept floating in and out of consciousness, that mind no mind space,
Nice.
where it was like you're almost hovering just above your body, or like half out of it, kind of, where you're in that almost dreamlike state between awareness and sleep.
Nice.
And I
That's where I like to like lucid dream
Well,
and
with
hang
my-
out in. Like, it's so peaceful in that spot.
right. And if you can stay in that spot, that's actually the goal of meditation. And so as you practice meditation, it actually helps you with things like that. And and I could see like colors, like watercolors, like floating over my eyes, and in different chakra colors and things like that. It was really cool,
That's
actually.
cool.
And this is the first Reiki session I've ever had. And
You
I
were
was
really excited. You called me right after. You were like, "This was so cool."
I did. But
and then the phone cut out, and I was like, "Darn it!"
the information I got from Francine when it was all done, and she's like, "Okay, this is what I saw, and this is, what I saw going out." What I found interesting was something that I have been mulling around in my mind for a few weeks now, was my sacral chakra was like off center, and like she tried to put it back, and it like shoot flames, and like
It said no.
it said no. And
Oh.
I'm going to be a little vulnerable.
Okay.
Okay. So I've had something going on with my body. I'm not sure what it is. I have a doctor's appointment on Friday, but I feel like there's something going on there. And more recently, over the last couple of weeks, it has been painful to have sex with my husband, which is, for me, it's terrifying that something might be wrong with my ovaries, with my uterus, with something down there. It has been tender to the touch. If I touch my stomach, my low, like my panty line, it's tender to touch, not painful, but tender and uncomfortable. It feels weird, not right. And I'm pretty in tune with my body and how it's supposed to feel. And I know this isn't right.
And you've been saying like it feels like you have cramps all the time.
All the time, or
So-
I'm bloated all the time, or I have gas or something going on all the time, but I don't actually have gas or cramps or bloating because
It doesn't pass.
it doesn't pass.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something going on. I'm working through it, but the reason why it's so terrifying for me is because about 2.5, 3 years ago, I lost my best friend to cervical cancer. And I watched her go through all that pain and trauma and cancer treatments and chemotherapy and ultimately not win that fight. And it's terrifying to me that there could be something similarly wrong with my system. And I wasn't actually able to put those words to my feelings until this past weekend when I was talking to my husband about different things going on, the pain during sex, and things like that. And he said, yeah, babe, I'm a little scared too. And he validated my feelings. He validated why I have these feelings. And my session, Francine, with you just solidified the fact that I needed to call the doctor. I needed to stop thinking about it, and I needed to call the doctor because there is something going on. I have no idea what it is. And, it circles back to what we've been talking about, women's health and things like that, and knowing what's going on with our bodies, because there's not a whole lot of, let's be honest, there's not a whole lot of research on women's productive systems and how they work. And if
squeezing her hand.
if
really
anything,
tight. I realized how tight I was squeezing her hand.
it was
I gotta
a
let
little
go.
sweaty. I feel like just by talking about it, even though I have no idea what's going on right now, might be helpful for somebody else too. Like if you have that feeling that maybe you should call the doctor about something going on with your body, just do it. Just call the doctor.
The sooner you stop stressing over it, the more we can face whatever's going on.
Right.
Together.
So I have an appointment on Friday, and I guess we'll go from there and we'll figure out what's going on. So I want to thank you, Francine, for just solidifying the fact for me that I needed to call the doctor because there's something going on here. That
Absolutely.
I think too, with like everything that we have going on with our children, it's hard for us to go, okay, I'm going to take time away from my children and take care of myself, right? And these are the things that take more time, and especially when there's such a fear around it, like the unknown, the what could it possibly be? It's just as terrifying, right? So
yeah. And the symptoms I have and I've been having the last couple of months it could be any number of things, let's be
Right.
honest.
It
There's a
could
whole
be.
spectrum. It could be very minor all the way up to, Miss
Super
Sally,
scary.
right? Super scary. So, but I won't know unless, I do the work to figure it out and to
Right.
take care of myself. So,
Right. And I want to add in here too, because I had an emergency hysterectomy back in 1998 due to severe endometriosis. And the first doctor I went and saw put me on hormones because he said, oh, it's just your hormones are out of whack. You just had a baby less than a year ago, or no, it was a year ago. He's like, you just had a baby a year ago. Your hormones are just out of whack. Let's get you started on the pill and go from there. And it didn't get better. I wanted to continue nursing my son, and I had to stop because you can't be on hormones and nurse. So I had to stop, and that was traumatic for both of us. And it didn't fix it. 2 weeks later, I'm still bleeding. I'm still in tons of pain. I felt awful. I had no energy. So I went to my regular OBGYN and I said, okay, this is what's going on. This is what this doctor said. Because I went to a specialist rather than going to my OBGYN. He is a specialist, but I went to a different kind of specialist, right? And so my OBGYN on a hunch ran a whole bunch of tests. And he said, well, I'll call you when I have the results. Well, unbeknownst to me, my husband had arranged for us to go to Victoria, British Columbia for the weekend. So he drove me to the doctor's appointment, and then he's like, surprise, we're going away for the weekend. And I'm like, I feel like shit. I'm like, I'm not in the mood. But it was paid for. The kids were all taken care of. So I said, okay, yay, let's go. I spent the most miserable weekend in Victoria, British Columbia with my husband. And
Oh,
thankfully he was so sweet. He was so understanding. And, it was not it was a big deal, but it wasn't a big deal. He was like, let's just take care of you. When I got back on Sunday, I had 24 messages from my OBGYN. And the last message was, and he called Saturday and Sunday. Well, he started calling on Friday. And then, finally on Sunday, it was like probably an hour before we got to our house and checked the messages. He's like, don't bother calling to make an appointment. Just show up at the office 9 o'clock as soon as we open. I need to talk to you. So
crap.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what the heck? So I did. I walked into his office Monday morning, 9 a.m. And he sat me down. He's like, I have you scheduled for emergency surgery on Friday. You're going to go to get some blood work done right now and make sure you have everything ready and kids are taken care of. And the husband has time that he can, be with you. I'm like, well, what are we doing? He's like, you're getting a hysterectomy. I was like, well, okay, I guess I'm done having kids. So, but he saved my life. I was hemorrhaging. My uterus was basically like a bowl of jello. I was hemorrhaging inside my body. I was bleeding out, and he saved my life. And there are some women who are like, oh, I can't lose my uterus. I can't. It makes me less of a woman. You're not less of a woman.
no.
If it needs to come out, it needs to come out. If you're done having your babies, you're done having your babies. There's no reason to continue to suffer every month, having that wonderful, visitor. Yeah, we don't need it anymore after we're done having babies.
And I'm done having babies. So if they have to take my stuff,
take it.
Take it.
Take it.
I'm
Take
done.
it. Take it. Yeah.
I'm glad they took my left ovary. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, they left me my left ovary, but they took my uterus, my cervix, and my right
that's
ovary out.
funny. You
Took it
have
off.
your left ovary and I don't have mine.
I
Do you have a belly button? Because I don't have one.
don't have one anymore.
Me either. What?
I had mine taken out April of last year because I had chronic infections in it. And I went, the doctor's like, are you sure you want this out? I'm like, yes, please take it out. It's nothing but chronic infections for 20 years. It smells, it's gross, it's icky. And he's like, most people want a belly button. I'm like, most people haven't lived with this for 20 years. Please take it out. So I have no more belly button. So I'm going to get a tattoo. My husband wants me
You're
to get
gonna get
that.
a tattoo of a belly button?
No, my husband wants me to get the tattoo of that Staples button, the
Oh, the
Oh.
easy button?
red button. I'm like, no, I'm not going to get the Staples red button, easy button on my belly button.
That's
No.
so funny.
Yeah.
Or a
I know.
Raggedy Ann Andy button on your belly.
Yeah, I haven't decided yet. I don't know if I
Uh-huh.
want an actual button or if I want a mandala or I don't know. I haven't
Ooh.
decided yet.
I haven't
And
A
thought
it's-
little
about that.
tiny alien.
oh, that could be cool.
Or like
Yeah.
a clone of some variety. That would be
That's
funny.
cute. I always think it would be fun to go to the piercing and like not tell them that you don't have a belly button, but go to get your belly button pierced
Oh yeah.
and like be like, dude, what'd you do to my belly button? Where'd it go? You scared it away. Just really play with it.
Just for
but-
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just for
Have 'em laugh.
funsies.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be
Not
funny.
actually go get it pierced because that sounds awful. And I don't know that I ever want any more open sores on my abdomen ever again.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm done with belly buttons. It's all good. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's awesome that neither of you guys have your belly button. I mean, it's such a strange
It's so
thing.
funny to show your belly to like little kids because they all they'll lift it. They go through that stage where they like lift up and look at everyone's belly buttons because they discover they have one and everyone else
When
has
they're
one,
like 2
and
or
then they're
3,
like,
yeah.
where'd it go?
Yeah.
What'd you do
You
to
don't
it?
have it.
Yeah, and what's weird is it's uncommon. Not very many people don't have a belly button.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
always laugh when you're doing yoga and they'll be like, breathe in, breathe out and then breathe in and suck your belly button in. And I just giggle like, I
belly
don't have one.
I have to suck it in
I
because
understand
don't have
the intent of
Uh-huh.
the,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
breath
it's
work,
funny.
but it's not a reference that applies to me.
Oh man.
Or you. Like,
Yeah.
that's fabulous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you guys should check out Francine. You will not be disappointed.
No, absolutely not.
We've used some of her other services. We've had family members and friends come talk to us. It's quite an amazing, intense experience.
Mhm.
Even positive ones left me like tears of joy, crying. Like it's just so moving. Like the gift that you give people with it, like with your gifts, like they don't know. Everyone
Thank
needs to
you.
know you. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have more clients. I would love to be busier. One of my favorite things is going in and clearing people's houses of, stuck energy, or if they've got, someone who's there who shouldn't be there. Like my next door neighbor, I'm gonna, clear that out for them. Or I do that for businesses too. And when I've done it for businesses, they then see an increase in their business, usually the next day. So I love doing what I do.
I know our friend Tracy, she said that for their for
Yeah.
Oberg
filters. Yeah,
Filters,
they
yeah,
they had a
it's
boost in their business
Yeah.
after your visit with her too.
like, and you think about that because you've been doing this work, and this I kind of think about this too, like oxidative stress, right? You're doing all of this work to like have energy move and everything, and then like there's just these like leftover bits that you can't quite clear yourself, like that gone. Now you're vibrating at a different level, you feel better, you're more confident. I was just like, I saw it all come together. I was like, that is pretty fabulous.
It is really fabulous.
Right. And who doesn't want, I mean, we work and talk about having that higher vibration and working at that level and just being a better person and showing up better and all the things that we want to do. And then we're like, oh, real life. Right, because then life and then you're
Yeah,
like,
then call
I'm
me
trying.
and I'll help you get there.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
a great tool to have in our packet. Do you want to read the quote
I-
for this week?
I will. And I just want to say that I feel so much better about what was going on in my head after our Reiki session.
Yeah,
Like,
and
great.
you were able to put words to what was going on in your head too,
Yeah.
personally, not just what's going on with all the kids and
Yeah.
everybody else and all the business life, right? Like
All
what's
the
going on
things
for
For me.
us. Like
Self-care is
individual.
important.
Mhm.
Self-care is important. And
Yeah. We talk
Reiki
about it every
provides
day.
you
so-
that self-care,
Yes.
right? If you,
Yes.
believe in massages, weekly or, bi-monthly, or if you, believe in acupuncture, if you believe in doing something for yourself, Reiki is one of those tools that you can use for yourself, right? It helps clear your energy. It helps reset your energy. It helps get you to that point where you're ready to move on to that next level, right?
Yes.
So Reiki should be one of those things that you do for yourself, just like you do a regular massage or regular acupuncture. You need to start doing regular Reiki.
Just
agree.
do it.
Just do it.
Just
All
do
right.
it.
Okay, this week's quote: "A healthy mind has an easy breath." Anonymous.
What do you think is your favorite way to incorporate breaths?
Lately it's been my anxiety has been like all over the place, right? So I can feel my anxiety come up because I get kind of shaky, like I've had too much caffeine.
It's an interesting
like,
vibration that has been
breathe.
happening.
Right? And I just really focus on that big deep breath in and feeling that and noticing maybe what I smell, and then exhale nice and slow. And that has really been a huge, huge help for me. Working through my anxiety, especially my anxiety about going to the doctor on Friday, right? Because it's up there, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But
Prince, sorry. How about you, Francine? What has been your favorite way to incorporate breath lately?
Oh gosh, I do it all the time. I think when
I
I'm
hear
outside-
that it's a habit for you. That's
It
what,
is.
when you
It
say
is.
that. I do it all
I-
the time. I think that you've just developed the habit of doing it. So asking that question is like, how do I do it?
I kind of do it all the time when I'm, working with a client, or I think most recently, because of the hot weather that we've had, I've been outside watering my plants more, right? Making sure they don't die. And just when I'm watering, because I go out there barefoot, of course, because you want to sink into Mother Earth, right? And connect. And just when I'm standing there with my hose, just watering my flowers or whatnot, I'm just naturally just breathing in, because I want to center and focus and just connect to Mother Earth. And so I'm just naturally breathing in. So that's been the most recent that I've, actively been doing. So, but I use it all the time, chopping vegetables, mostly when I'm really conscious of it when I'm working with my clients, because I know that as I'm breathing in and out, I'm getting my clients to do that deep breathing, in and out, to get them relaxed. And I had one client tell me that hearing me breathe helped them relax. So I thought that was really cool. I'm like, wow. So
that is really cool.
It is one of those techniques that we use in teaching yoga or Reiki or like any of those things without even really thinking about it after a while is breathing. Because if you're breathing, so is everybody else.
I remember my anesthesiologist saying that like yoga students are like some of the best breathers. Like they just know how to do it. Like
martial artists too, because I've trained in martial arts for over 20 years. And that's one of the first things that you learn how to do is to breathe, because you can't do a technique if you're holding your breath.
Right.
Yeah, you have to breathe.
You can't think if you're holding your breath.
Right.
Nope.
Right. You need that oxygen flow.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, my favorite lately has been, we've kind of been shifting our mindset around when technology is rough. And and so every time I kind of see that little circle or going south, I'm like, okay, it's time to breathe. We're just gonna let whatever happens happen. I can't control if the internet won't work, right? It's not my control. I can control my breath and how I respond to it. Right. So then I've just noticed that I'm going from one activity to the next so much smoother. Like I'm not getting stuck in the why won't this work? It's just like it's doing its thing. It's gonna take a second, it's been a really cool gift to myself.
It's helping you to understand there are some things outside of your control and you just have to let it happen.
Yeah.
So the only thing you can do is just breathe through it.
I was
can control
trying
that.
really hard to do that earlier when my internet wasn't working. Really, really hard.
I was like, well, what do you think? Should we relocate?
I was like, we've got podcast with Francine in a half hour and our internet's not working. We should just pack up and go.
Yep, we'll
So
go
we
find
did.
the internet.
Let's go find the internet.
So we're in the digital forest instead of the
Nice.
actual forest.
right. The fabric one.
That's okay. It's all good.
And
Charlie put the lights behind it, so if you watch, there's twinkle lights that come in and out, so it's really cool.
Oh,
she's super
I
impressed.
love it so much.
I like
So
it too.
I get to sit in my own forest at home. I
Oh,
love
I'm
it.
noticing that. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Isn't it fun? It's so fun and relaxing.
I told her it's her fairy forest. Right. This is
I
your
love it.
mystical fairy forest over here.
And then the same day, she told me about this cool trick where you can put your aromatherapy diffuser down into a cauldron, so it looks like their cauldron's bubbling.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
And
that's
it-
a thing. It's
And
so
it's helping
rad.
out. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I saw it on the Pinterest or TikTok. Or I saw it.
And then it
somewhere,
has
I
like the
have to
cool
tell you.
glowy light you can change. So like at night, I could be like purple or green or rainbow
Super cool.
colors.
Mhm.
Like I love
I
it.
love
I was
it.
like, this is so fun. And then it just brings that little whimsy of joy. And I love it. And then yeah,
It is fun.
that is super
It
fun.
is super fun.
Francine, we want to say thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure.
And to our audience, we want to say thank you so much for joining us and taking part. We hope that you'll connect with Francine. Check out all of her links below. As always, as community leaders and the future of our communities depends on us. So as entrepreneurs, we want to make sure we're giving back. This quarter, we're donating to the Tears Foundation, and we've already had good tears today. So I'm just going to real quick do a good overview. They help families that are experiencing a loss of a child or infant through that whole process. And so if you would check out their links and donate, that'd be great. Check out the link for Leslie's book. She's donating 25% of her proceeds for a few more weeks to the Tears Foundation. So that's another way to give back. And that's such an awesome book. It's a great book if you have somebody that is going through a loss and you don't know how to help them. These are stories of women that have gone through things, so that can give you either perspective if it's you reading it, or maybe you to help somebody else. It's just such a cool tool we could have. And it's really lovely stories for the subject matter. So
Absolutely.
there's that. Check those links out. And as always, we are looking forward to continuing to making more relationships with more community leaders. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us today. We love you all. Namaste.
Namaste. Mwah.